Okay, so let's talk some materials for our jack. Fun fact, I've never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. Go figure. All right, so we are going to need our 3.5mm hook. We're gonna need a yarn needle. We're going to need stitch marker, scissors, some quilting pins, some yarn. So we're gonna need black. This is gonna be for the body, the sleeve, the eye, the nose, and the smile. So we need a decent amount of black. We need white. This is gonna be for the head and the arms, or the hands, I should say. And we will also need some polyfill. Polyfill, that's gonna help us to stuff our guy. All right, and I actually think that's it. It's not too material heavy this time around. So let's just go ahead and get into the tutorial. Okay, so to start our jack, we are going to start with a magic circle, and this is going to be for leg number 1. So let's go ahead and start with a magic circle, and we are going to put 6 single crochets inside of our magic circle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go ahead and close that up. Row number 2, we're going to do an increase all the way around, and that just means 2 single crochets in each stitch, and you should end up with 12 single crochets. Go ahead and do that all the way around. Rows 3 through 6 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have 12. So go ahead and do your rows 3 through 6, and I will do mine, and I will meet you back here once I am done. Alright, so this is what my leg number 1 is looking like. And if you haven't figured this out, or if you haven't worked with black yarn before, you guys make sure you have a lot of lighting, because black yarn is very hard on the eye. So I would not suggest you doing this project like at night or in a dimly lit room. So that's just my kind of tip for the day. But this is what leg number 1 looks like. I am gonna go ahead and pull that yarn through, and we're gonna do this again. So we are gonna repeat leg number 1, rows 1 through 6. When you do the second leg though, do not fasten off. Don't fasten off, leave your yarn attached, and I'll show you what to do next. So let me go ahead and make my second leg, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so this is my second leg, and what I've done is I just moved my stitch marker to where my crochet hook currently is in that loop. And what I'm gonna do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Next, I'm gonna look for the stitch after the fasten off. So this is our fasten off stitch, and again, black is really hard to see, so I'm hoping I'm doing you justice here. So this is our fasten off, their last stitch that we fasten off with. We're gonna go into the next stitch and attach with a single crochet. Now we're gonna do 1 single crochet in the remaining 11 stitches around this foot, and we'll do these together so that, you know, if you get stuck, you know. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see this little wonky one where we did the fasten off, that does count as a stitch. So you do want to go in there, and that is your 11th stitch. So you just want to pull that one kind of tight, put the tail right there between the legs. See, these are my legs. I just put the tail right in the center. I'm going to chain another 3, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which is go into that stitch after that last stitch that we made in our second leg. So for me, that's going to be right here. I'm going to attach with a single crochet, and then do a single crochet in the remaining 11 stitches until we get to our stitch marker. So go ahead and do that, then I'll meet you back here. All right, so this is what I'm looking like, and I'm gonna go ahead and move my stitch marker. I am using a row counter. You don't have to do this. It just helps me to keep track of which row I'm on. So after we join the legs, I'm considering this next row, row number 1. Okay, so when I say row 1, 2, 3, 4, what have you, I'm talking about after we've joined the legs. So for row number 1, we're going to do 30 single crochets. That should be 12 for each leg, 3 chains in the front and 3 chains in the back. Each one of those are 3 single crochets. So I'll do a good chunk of it with you so you see what I mean. So we made a chain of 3, so there should be 3 single crochets in that chain. So 1, 2, 3. And when you get to the leg, this weird little fasten off stitch area is gonna count as 1. You don't know how many times I've, when I was beginning doing these like leg joins, I skipped that stitch and it just messes everything up. You're gonna be down a couple of stitches if you don't go into that one little funky stitch. So that is the gist of it. Go ahead and go all the way around. You should end up with 30 stitches. So meet me back here when you're done. All right, so for row number 2, we are doing 4 single crochets and then an increase. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase, and you're going to do that all the way around till you get to your stitch marker. All right, and our little guy's coming right along here. So rows 3 through 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. You should, in theory, have 36 stitches. So go ahead and do yours. I will do mine, and we will meet back together. All right, so this is what I'm looking like after my 5th row. Row number 6 is going to be 4 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease all the way around. Row number 7 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and at this point you should have 30 stitches. So go ahead and do yours all the way around. Row number 8 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. And you're going to do that all the way around. Row 9 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. So just literally 1 in each stitch. Go ahead and do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Row 10 is going to be 2 single crochets and then a decrease. 1, 2, and then a decrease. 1, 2, and then a decrease all the way around. Row number 11 is going to be 1 single crochet in each, and at this point we should have 18 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then meet me back here. Alright, our 12th and final row is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. After this row you should end up with 12 stitches. That's kind of important because the amount of stitches in our body should amount to the amount of stitches that we end up in our head, and that's just going to make it easier for us to attach later. So go ahead and do this all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Alright, so I went ahead and cut my yarn. I left a pretty decent tail for sewing. I did fasten off. And so what we want to do now is we want to stuff this guy and we want to close the hole in the center. So I'm going to do that off camera, but I'm going to show you, or tell you rather, how to close this hole in the center of the legs. So once we stuff, the hole will be a lot more visible. And hopefully you can see that now. When you sew the hole, you do want to use the tail in between the leg. You do not want to sew side to side because your leg is going to close like that. It's going to go from there to there. What you want to do is sew from back to front or front to back, because then our hole is going to close this way, and that's exactly what we want. So I suggest you stuff first and then sew, and then meet me back here once you're done, and I'll show you what mine looks like in just a sec. Alright, so this is what mine is looking like. I went ahead and closed that hole in the center. I did hide that yarn. I just kind of pulled it through the top and then tucked the tail in. You can kind of see it right there. Like I literally just tucked it in there because all that's going to be hidden once we add the head and all that other good stuff. So let's go ahead and put this aside, and we are going to start on the arms. So for the arms, we are going to start with our white yarn. And let me just put my row counter here. We're going to start with our white yarn in a magic circle. And in our magic circle, we are going to put 4 single crochets because our arms are going to be kind of small. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to place our stitch marker. Row number 2 is going to be 8. Well, you should end up with 8. one increase in each stitch. So that's an increase is just 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So that's 1. This is my second stitch, and you're just going to do this all the way around. And you should end up with 8. Row number 3 is going to be 1 single crochet in each, and you should have 8. At the end of row number 3, you're going to change to black. So in your last stitch, you're just going to hang tight and change that black color. So for that last stitch, what you want to do is just go into that last one, pull up so there's 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to pull in your new color, which is that black, just like that. I can cut that white now, move my stitch marker, change my row counter to row number 4. And so for rows 4 through 8, we are just doing 1 single crochet in each. And each row should have 8 single crochets. So go ahead and do this all the way around, and I will meet you back here once my arm is finished. Alright, so this is what my arm is looking like after those 8 rows. And what I want to do now is I want to pinch. I am not stuffing my arm. I don't like my arm stuffed for this project. If you would like to, this is a good time to do so. I wouldn't stuff it too tightly, but you know, that's up to you. What I'm going to do is pinch my sides together, and I'm going to add 3 to 4 single crochets in there. So that was 1, 2, 3 is good for me. And I'm just going to pull that through. I already cut my yarn because I kind of approximated how much yarn I was going to need left. But that is what my arm is looking like, and this is what it's going to look like on the body. So again, I don't like mine stuffed, but if you want yours stuffed just a little bit, you go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do my second arm off camera, and then I'll show you what it looks like after. Alright, so this is what my 2 arms are looking like. I'm going to go ahead and put those aside along with my body. And we are going to focus on the head now. So for the head, we are going to start with our white yarn. Our head is going to be white. We're going to start with our magic circle and 6 single crochets inside of our magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to close that circle, place our stitch marker. Row number 2 is going to be an increase all the way around. And we're doing 2 single crochets in every single stitch all the way around. Row number 3 is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. Single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch all the way around. Row number 4 is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. So that's 1, 2, and then an increase all the way around. Row number 5 is going to be 3 single crochets and then an increase. That's 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. You're going to do that all the way around. Row number 6 is going to be 4 single crochets and then an increase. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. And you're going to do that all the way around. Row 7 is going to be 5 single crochets and an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. And you're going to do that all the way around. Alright, so for rows 8 through 12, you are going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for rows 8 through 12, and I'll meet you back here once I'm done. Okay, so this is what I'm looking like after row number 12. Row number 13 is going to be 5 single crochets and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a decrease, and you're going to do that all the way around. Alright, row number 14 is going to be 4 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease, and you're going to do that all the way around. Row 15 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease all the way around. Alright, row number 16, and we're almost done here, y'all. 16 is going to be 2 single crochets and then a decrease. That's 1, 2, and a decrease. 1, 2, and then a decrease all the way around. And row 17 is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. Again, you want to make sure that you end up with 12 stitches here, because that's going to be important for attachment of our head to our body. So go ahead and do the 1 single crochet and then a decrease all the way around. Alright, so my head is all done. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut my yarn, leaving a long tail for sewing. I'm going to go ahead and fasten this guy off, and then I'm going to stuff off camera. Once I stuff, I'm going to put this aside and then meet you back here to do the eyes of our jack. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on the eyes for our jack. And they are very big and mean looking dark hole of eyes. So we are going to start with a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the second chain from the hook, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then add an additional 2 in the subsequent stitches. So that's 3 right there. In that last stitch, we're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to close that hole a bit. Close it. We're going to add another 3 single crochets on the other side of the chain. So 1, 2, 3. And in that last stitch, we're going to add an additional 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add a stitch marker here just so that I know where I began. Okay, in our third row, the chain 5 counts as row number 1. We just did row number 2. Row number 3, we are going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to do 2 increases. So an increase in this stitch, an increase in this stitch, another 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should be left with 2 stitches, and we're going to do increases in both of those, 1 and 2. Go ahead and move our stitch marker. Alright, our next row number 4, is going to be 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to do an increase, a single crochet, then an increase, and you're going to repeat. So 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an increase, 1 single crochet, and then an increase. And it's gonna curl on you just a little bit, but that's okay. Once we're done, we can kind of flatten it out like that. All right, then we're just gonna attach with, or finish with the slip stitch. Go ahead and cut, leave a long tail for sewing, and you're gonna need 2 of these because Jack has 2 eyes. So go ahead and do your second one, and I'll meet you back here to show you what mine looks like. All right, these are my 2 eyes for my Jack, and I do believe we have all of our pieces, so we can start the assembly process. Okay, so what I did was just put all my pieces together. I do have like this really long quilting needle that I just have on hand. It made it easier to kind of stick the head onto the body. I placed my eyes and my arms on here just so I can, you know, kind of play around with the placement a little bit. For reference, my eyes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting at row 5, and yeah, they are about 3 to 4 stitches apart. So yeah, let me go. Oh, and my arms are in the, what was that, 1, 2, between rows 3 and 4, from that last row in the body. So let me go ahead and sew this together, and then I'll meet you back here to do the finishing touches on the face. All right, so this is what we're looking like when it's all sewn in. Looking pretty good so far. So the last thing we need to do is to do his little, I dropped my needle, to do his little nose parts, and then to do his big smile, that signature for Jack. So to do that, what I'm going to do is get my black yarn, and I'm going to get a fairly decent length going here. I'm going to go in through the back of the head, and I think I'm going to do the nose pieces first. So I'm going to go in, skip 1 stitch, go into the next stitch, and I'm going to kind of go down a little bit like this. And then I'm going to come up in that next stitch, just like that. And then do the same thing for this side. When I come out on this side, I'm going to come in on the same row as the eye, 2 stitches over. 1, 2, and go into that 3rd stitch, just like that. You see how the nose is there now? And the smile is gonna look like that. So what I want to do is actually go in the same spot where the eye, for the smile, where the eyes are. So I'm gonna find the bottom of the eye, and I'm gonna count that 3rd stitch. 1, 2, 3. And then for me, I'm just gonna come up in a spot on the other side because we are gonna do his stitching now on his smile. If you notice, Jack has some stitching on his smile, as if his smile is like sutured on almost, something like that. So what I want to do is just make sure this smile is in the position that I want it to be. Like right like right there, I think is good. And I'm gonna pull it kind of tight, just like that. And what I'm gonna do is just go back and forth over the smile to make those little lines. And so literally I'm just gonna make little tiny lines, and they don't have to be symmetrical per se. They are a little bit on the symmetrical side, but not too much. And so I just want to go in and out just like this on either side of the line. That's going to hold that line in place also, so it's kind of serving two purposes. So just like this, we're going to do this all the way down, just like that. And go into this hole right here. Then I'll go into this one and come out maybe here. Give it a little bit of a slanted look, just like that. I'm gonna go on this one, come out here. And again, this is, I mean, it's semi-arbitrary, but I do just want them to be like little lines on either side. And I think that is good for me. So then I'm just gonna go and tie this guy off, and that is it. And that is it. That is our jack. I think it came out pretty darn cute, if I do say so myself. So what you can do with this pattern, this guy is super simple. I didn't add a lot to him, so if you want, you can put a little bow tie. You can actually add like a V to make it look like he's wearing a tuxedo. You can give him a little top hat. I've seen also is really cute. But I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell icon so you know when I drop new content, which is literally every single Monday. Crochet some cool stuff, and don't forget to stay safe this week, you guys. There's a whole lot going on in the world right now, and I want you to be safe so you can come back and see me next week. All right, well, until next time.